Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, you have landed on GingerChickRehab, where I love to go thrifting. I love to look for secondhand finds that I can repurpose to resell or just decorate my own home with. So in today's video, that is what we are doing. Somebody asked me in the comments once, do we have a lot of water around where I live? Well, I live in Michigan, so I would say yes. So they were wondering how come I find a lot of swans. I do not know, but I love to pick them up. I love to fix them. I love to paint them over and resell them. So this little guy had a broken neck that somebody else already fixed, but you can see that glue mark. So what I'm doing now is I'm just taking some sandpaper and sanding down that so it is smooth. That was probably the reason that I was able to pick these up at an antique store. Yes, I got the pair of these at an antique store. Extremely reasonable. If you are a reseller going through an antique store and you're buying something, it's usually because it's reasonable and you can see the value in reselling it. So I do not shy away from fixing an item, and I know a lot of you watching today are just like me. And for some reason, I always like my swans whiter. When I think of a swan, I think of it being really white. But before I paint it, these have glass eyes. So I'm just going to put a little dab of Vaseline on those eyes to protect it from getting any paint on there. So other than wiping these off, making sure there's clean, Fusion Paint has primer, paint, and top coat all in one. So this is perfect to touch these up with. And that's all I'm doing is repainting that. I think it might have like been an antiquing glaze. It's not like sanded off or anything, just like a dry brush or something. But to me, it just made them look kind of dirty. So I'm just going to brighten them up with this Parchment Fusion paint. It's not a bright white, it's a nice soft white. You can really tell the difference. So I'm really taking my time around the head because I don't want to have to repaint the bill if I don't have to. And I have a third one to throw into the mix. Though the same thing, I want him to be a little bit wider. I wish he had a mate, but he does not. So we're going to go ahead, and I already put Vaseline on his eyes to make sure that I didn't paint those up. And we're just going to go ahead and get him freshened up with some of that Parchment Fusion paint also. Really only took one coat to freshen these up. So now I'm just taking some 220 sandpaper, just very gently, and I'm going to add my own distressing. I get where they wanted to distress it, but I just like that crisp white. So this is just going to brighten back up. That's just going to pop those details, give a little bit of age by distressing it, and yep, you're going to see that little bit of the yellowish white underneath, but that's a good look. And just using a wet wipe or a wet rag, your fingernail, you should easily be able to remove the Vaseline off the eyes. Sometimes it's nice to sell the set as is, or sometimes it's nice to put them in a display. And so I have this thrifted basket that I got at auction, but it's missing one of its legs. So Chris is going to take a piece of pallet wood, because it has that aged patina. He's just drawing a line matching up what the curves are on that foot, the little leg that it had on, and he's going to make me a new leg. So after he just got that cut from the pallet piece, he's just making kind of a circle, and then he's just going to take it over to his sander, and then he's just going to work on getting that curved part so it will fit back onto that basket. And then to adhere the leg to the basket, he's just using a little bit of CA glue and the accelerator to dry it. And voila, now we have 2 legs back on this basket. I don't know about you all, but I love pieces that I can find at auctions when nobody else wants them because they're like, hey, lady, that's broken. Don't buy that. I'm like, you don't know. I'm a fixer person. Okay, well, Chris fixed this one, but that's the fun of it. That is the fun of it. Yes, because I just thought, oh, I knew as soon as I saw this basket that these 2 would be perfect in there. Age patina of the basket, the nails that have slightly rusted, and now I'm just going to add a pop of green. The greenery will really tie this. It's like those 3 colors, that brown, the white swans, and the green. Oh my gosh. So this is why you cut stems down. Stems down. Yeah, you know, they're made to be cut down. So now I'm just, and you get more usage out of cutting your stems apart than you do leaving them in big one clumps. So a great investment is a pair of nippers, and I usually try to remember to link these, my favorite go-to, in my Amazon store down below. But yes, so I'm just going to go ahead and snip, 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 and use as much as I need to just accentuate these beautiful swans. So it felt like if I put the 3rd one in the basket, that would have been too crowded. And if I put him in a basket, he would look lonely. But why couldn't he be tucked in this cute little older box? Oh my gosh. And I just by happen in that grouping have just 2 of those pieces left to accentuate him. So here's another swan that I picked up at an antique store. Yep, another antique store pick. Though it was really cheap, but I'm like, oh, it's a rolling toy. How cool is that? But I don't know. They look like they're suffocating his his poor little neck. So let's get this gingham wreath ribbon off, and then this grapevine wreath. I don't know what's going on with that, but it definitely just looks like he's been swooped, and it's really pulling on his neck. I'm not really sure what this piece is supposed to be. Maybe it's supposed to be greenery? I don't know. We're going to go ahead and pop that off too. It's looking so much better already. So that did have a little bit of glue on it, so I'm going to go ahead and take some sandpaper, try to sand that glue off. But I want to paint this piece, so I need to protect that string. I'm not going to take it off because I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get it back in. So I just took the time to take some masking tape to tape it off to protect it. Give it more of an updated look, I'm going to be covering up the burgundy that's on the top and on the handle. So just some coal black fusion paint, 1 coat, should do the trick. Just a small little paintbrush, trying not to get it too much onto the swan. And then since I have to touch up the place where I took that grass off, I'm going to go ahead and give the whole thing a fresh coat of the Parchment white. And then yet again, I'll try not to touch the bill and just, I'm going to have to cover up the eyes and repaint those, but I want to not touch that bill. If I don't have to repaint it, that's perfect. If I do, then so be it. Oh, that is so much better just giving this little guy an update. So I'm going to go in with some sandpaper. We're going to go ahead and distress this piece, go down to that natural wood, some of that original paint, but it'll just give it a clean, crispy look. But I do need to go back in and give him an eye back, so I'm just using the end of a paintbrush, just a little dot, trying to guesstimate on the shape of the head where that would be. I think my eyeballs kind of got bigger than the original eyeballs, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And then after they dry, I'll just sand them a little bit. This guy I actually grabbed out of my own antique booth. I bought him in an antique booth for minimal. I felt like he had that folk art type of vibe, but I don't know if is it the blue. He sat and sat and sat, and I didn't have him terribly high by any means, but so I'm going to go ahead and give him a makeover. So after getting him dusted off, because he collected dust in my booth, I hate that. Much rather sell than have to dust an item. So I'm going to start off with giving him a primer coat of Rust-Oleum's enamel paint. And now that my primer coat is dry, I'm going to go in and he's already wood, so I'm going to give him more of a wood look with Fusion's Wick color. It's a beautiful, almost that nice aged wood look. That color is just, it's appropriate. Wick is appropriate for this paint color. And I find if I do a slight misting just with a mister bottle, it really gets the brush strokes out. But I am going to be layering my paints with some Lantern milk paint. I'm hoping for a crackle finish where you'll see that Wick underneath. And you're probably thinking I should have just painted, you know, should I have just painted on the Wick first and not done the primer spray. I just have a habit of always starting off with that primer spray. It's just how I do things. I don't mind. I just really want my painted here, and it probably would have been fine if I would have skipped that step, but I just wanted to make sure that that blue hopefully wasn't going to show through too much. So it's looking like the one coat is going to be enough to cover. So I'm going to go in with the heat of the heat gun and start drying this piece, helping it along, hoping to see some crackle, some crazing, some yumminess. Oh, I can already tell that it is going to crackle. I find a lot of times if I do that fusion paint underneath the milk paint, I do get a lot more crackling going on. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? But I do need to add some color to his bill and add an eyeball. So I'm going to go in with the Sweet Pickins Curry milk paint. I like this shade of yellow. I like it a lot. So I'm just mixing up a little dab, a little bit of water. You stir it. Yes, the milk paint is a powder. You use equal parts powder to water or whatever works for you. If you want it a little bit thicker, less water, you want it a little bit thinner, more water, but you do let it sit up for a few minutes before applying it. So we'll see how the color change works for this little guy, but I'm going to go ahead and sand that eye a little bit just because I have like 2 layers of paint on top of each other. It's kind of sticking out. That way it's just not so noticeable. I'm not going to sand the entire piece because I got some amazing crackling and crazing going on, just the eyeballs. So thank you so much for watching today's video, and let me know down in the comments below, have I inspired you to look at secondhand finds in a new way? And of course, which one of the items I made over today were your favorites? And as always, if you're part of our YouTube family, thank you so much. And if you stayed to this part of the video, I think you enjoyed it. And if you're not part of our YouTube family, smash that subscription button along with the notification bell so you know when I've uploaded a new video. And we will see you next time, guys, and you can see what we're up to. Bye.